What if tomorrow you woke up and just like that, you had the body you've always dreamed of? Your health was on point, energy levels were high, and your confidence, through the roof. Completely Possible Fitness wants you to know that it's possible to change your life and make your dreams come true. We specialize in weight loss, muscle building, functional training, group exercise, and nutritional advice. Don't let another day go by not having exactly what you want. Contact CopoFit and let us help transform your life. CopoFit is on all social media, or you can email us at copofit@gmail.com. That's COPOFIT@gmail.com. Do you love drama as much as I do? Plot shifts and heart-pounding turns will keep you enthralled in the new book, Soiled Sheets by Phoenix Ash. Dana and Marshall are drawn to each other, but their flame has a tendency to burn and splinter all that once mattered, quite possibly even each other. Will they make it through the debris or become part of the ruins? Find out when you purchase your copy of Soiled Sheets by Phoenix Ash. Now available via Amazon Books and all Kindle devices. And it's free with Kindle Unlimited.
You're tuned in to Say What Radio with your hosts, Justin, Taz, and the other guys. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go.
Say What Radio. I'm going to just start with this one and just say headline, see what you say. Baseball coach is suspended after he forced his players to spit in his face.
He loses damn job.
A Greek man was convicted of stealing electricity despite being dead. Yes, convicted him after he died.
So he didn't do it before he died.
Yes.
No, okay. What he died and rounded over.
It's me.
Say what? Say what one more goddamn time.
All right. It is Wednesday night, so you know what time it is. Say What Radio's coming at you guys. Got your girl Justice here hanging with the other guys, and I will go ahead and start it to my left.
Dre D. Dre T.
And
Jules.
We still don't
You
have
still
a name.
don't have a radio name?
Well, he know. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know this, but Jules actually launched his own podcast.
What is your name?
Oh, yeah, I did. Jules. It's just Jules.
My goodness.
Why would it?
How long did it take you to come up with that one?
I had to really think about it. You know, I started with King Jules Shabazz El Malik, the third prince of the fourth.
The third prince of the fourth.
Something like that. And then I just decided to stick with Jules.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when the Texans first became a franchise, and we were all waiting to see what the name was going to be. Houston getting a new sports team.
Yeah.
They unveiled it.
Yeah.
And they had this big ceremony to unveil it. It was like the Texans.
You're like, the fuck?
The Houston Texans? That's all you came up with?
That was the
That's all we
best.
got?
How long did it take you to come up with this?
Yeah.
A big ceremony and everything.
Yeah, I did not like that name when they first came out with it.
I didn't like the symbol when it first came out. I was okay with Texas. I was just like, eh. Oilers I never really was, keen on. Rockets I've always loved, and Astros
pretty
I've
much
always
what
loved.
our city was known for.
I know, but I never cared for it. Like I said, I didn't care for
Astros
it.
known for space. That's what I'm saying. Texans they just said, fuck it, we're not going to care about history. We're just going to name you after your state.
Yeah.
And then there was originally like a Dallas football team with the same name. Like it was the Dallas Texans. And that's stupid.
Yeah, that was the other problem. Yeah. There's already a team called the Texans.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can go ahead and check out the Cool Black Nerd podcast on Say What Radio. That was, I think it was a couple weeks ago that Jules actually went ahead and did it.
Jules, did you check with Marco?
Did I do
I know
what?
he has Cool Black Nerd. Jules is the Cool Black Nerd podcast.
Yeah. I don't know.
So it's a little bit different.
So this
Copyright
is what
pending.
we're doing now.
It wasn't on purpose.
Hey, I had actually talked to Marco a couple of times asking him did he want to do that, and he didn't. But Jules jumped on it first.
You know you got to push Marco to do something.
I know.
He ain't going to do it himself.
Hopefully, him and Jules can do some shows together one day or not.
I'm 100% down.
Yeah. And
Everyone
you
is
guys
free
can
to
be
be
on it with
involved.
Jules as well. I believe the first episode had to do with the whole anthem thing and other stuff.
What are me and T? Just like some substitute players who just keep getting thrown in with the other guys. That's what
I have been asking for you guys to do a podcast mainly on sports for the longest, because that is still one of the highest rated shows that we had. The one where you guys did the Sports Centers the first time, and then the other one where you were explaining more about what sports are, how women can talk to their men about sports, what they can say, blah, 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 blah. Those were really high rated shows back then. Like, I remember, I think one of them was almost a 10K play by itself, but y'all never did it. So
we did have another sports topic.
No, I'm saying where y'all would do it a little bit more often. Again, when y'all did it the last time, I think it was like last year.
Yeah.
That one was a high rated episode. Yeah, we got so many comments on that.
Maybe once a month. There isn't as much sports to go around as not named LeBron James to talk about for the most part.
Well, and that's what people like about our network. It's mainly our point of views. A lot of the stuff that comes out is, the shit that's on ESPN, and that's it. So they like the different views. That's it. All right. But y'all ain't come here for that. Y'all came here for the headline.
They did. They came here for all of us. What is this? That's a part of all of us.
They love all the podcasters.
I tell you what, they didn't come for, that goddamn headline music.
Whatever. You find me a new one, I'll put it up. Anyway.
I think we did a long time ago.
Whatever. Okay, so we've been off for a while now. I did have a quick update and a review of Captain Marvel that went up last week. But some of the things, since we have everyone together, I kind of wanted to touch on that have happened like recently, just to get you guys' opinions. Of course, we want to go ahead and give condolences out to the family and friends and those affected by the ridiculous massacre in New Zealand that happened, where 49 people actually lost their lives to nonsense. I think they have the guy in custody or whatnot. And one thing that I do like about this, because you've said it before, D, a few times, many times when they have these incidents that happen, they kind of glorify or magnify the guy, giving him all this credit, all this information, but attention in the media. They're blurring out this guy's face and not actually mentioning his name.
Yeah, that's the way
so
you should
I like
do it.
that.
Unfortunately for one person, I want to say unfortunately, I guess I wouldn't put that on anybody. I don't like the woman. But you heard the news from the guy's manifesto, right?
Yeah.
The person he named as one of his influences?
No, who was?
Candace Owens.
Yep.
Wait, Candace Owens.
You know her.
Yep, Candace Owens. You know Candace Owens.
Jules, would you like to
place that name?
Describe? Okay. Go ahead and give some info on Miss Owens.
All right, well, for people who don't know who Candace Owens is an African-American young lady. However, she appears to be extremely conservative. Some people feel like she's just saying certain things to try to get paid, which it kind of looks like sometimes. She's probably most famous now for being the person who was like, Kanye West helped me design these T-shirts talking about Blexit. We're going to leave the Democratic Party. It's a black exit. And then that's when Kanye was like, you know what? I've discovered that people are exploiting me for money. I will no longer talk about politics. That's who Candace Owens is. Now, in this case, she's put out a whole lot of tweets that talk about Muslims as invaders or talking about them taking over people's country because their birth rates are so much higher than the native people's birth rates and stuff like that. So in his manifesto, the killer cited her as somebody who inspired him to go and do this.
Mm-hmm. And like Candace Owens always does, she tries to deflect, saying that it's the media that's portraying this. I was like, bitch, he wrote it. He is saying
it's not the media making these connections. Like, he made the connection himself. He said, I'm doing this because I'm influenced by her.
Yes.
Like, he's not influenced by me. You guys are making this up.
That's exactly what she said.
Read it yourself.
Exactly what she's saying. That's how she's trying to deflect it.
Wow. That is like, this is Trump's America for you.
Yes, it is. Pretty much. But the frightening fact is that I think pretty much all of the attack was actually live streamed on Facebook.
Wow.
And I think it's about 18 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer. And the heart-wrenching part of it, the dude walks in and the person who greets him is like, welcome, brother. And he turns around and starts shooting. And I mean, just lit into this man and everyone else in there. They've been having a big problem trying to keep the video from continuing to circulate because of, the internet. Once it's on Facebook, one person saw it, then they put it on Twitter, then they put it on Instagram, Snapchat.
You can take that video down, but it's 50 more copies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it seems like, I think the FBI said that every single time that they take down 100, 1,000 more pop up. of that same video. So that's ridiculous. The fact that people even want to watch that. Some people had links to it. I was like, I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to hear about any of that or whatever. But people kept showing that little clip of the man walking in, talking to him, saying, welcome, brother, and then he shoots him.
Yeah, I think it's the shock factor. Because most of us, I would hope, have never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
And so if there's a video out there, you're like, wait, let me see what this looks like. So I think that's probably why it goes viral like that.
Yeah. Again, like I said, condolences out to the family and friends, and it's really crazy that the first thing that they said right after that, New Zealand was like, our laws are changing, our gun laws are changing. That is period. That's just it. There's no way we can keep living in a society like this where these types of things happen. And
has this happened often in New Zealand?
No.
I mean, you can't stop one off. You can't even regardless of how strict your laws are, you're gonna have anomalies where stuff like this happens. But if this is something that was common,
but I think it's becoming common for them.
That's what I'm saying. If this is something that's starting to happen often, I can understand it.
It's not happening like it does in the U.S., but I think it's been like a dozen or so there, which is too much for them. Us seems like it does not matter, but I don't even know how to segue out of that. But also want to give condolences out to Luke Perry's family, who was buried in Tennessee this week. That was shocking to me. I was like, damn, Dylan's dead.
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember they said he had a stroke that put him in the hospital. Did they ever say
he never woke up from the stroke? It was just a massive stroke, and then
strokes are always scary because they can come without any warning whatsoever. It just happens.
And they're saying that our society, our generation is actually having strokes younger. They're seeing it more in people who are in 30s and 40s rather than back in the day when it was like people's in their 50s, 60s.
We're a lot unhealthier.
Yeah. Which is crazy considering that people want to keep sending them to saying, oh, eat this, eat that, kale this, kale that.
Well, that's pretty much our generation trying to change that because we know the path that we're heading based on the way the statistics look. Yeah. That like this whole health trend has just recently started within like the last 5 years or so, I would say about
10, 15.
Well, I mean like the way it's like you literally see
steam.
Like 50 Cent posted a picture, was it today or yesterday? Posted a picture of Fat Joe. He was like, Fat Joe ain't fat no more. It's like, let me get my shit. Let me go to the gym now.
Well, we can't just call him Joe because that name's taken.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
But still gotta call him Fat Joe.
But you see all of these people that like you grew up, they were all big, and now like they've lost weight. They've become a little bit more conscious. It's really our generation that's pushing that. Hopefully, generation after us catches on, or else the age trend will just continue to go down. Because, I mean, we definitely suffer from a lot of health problems.
It's kind of a two-way thing. So, like, you got to look at, like, one part of America that's getting constantly healthier. But then there's another part that's following a different trend. You got more food trucks and all that. So, it's like, it's so much more temptation out there to eat bad. So,
you're right. You're right.
So, it's kind of going to extremes now. Man. There's no middle area. Like, everybody's either super healthy or super shitty.
This is the thing that I find so crazy. Like you were saying, eating healthy is expensive. Why? But that should be like the norm. That should be regular. It's regular food. It's just this processed ass shit.
It's just because at the rate that we've used up our resources, our natural resources are depleting. So we're using artificial resources to cover up for that. So in order to use our natural resources now, it's almost like extinct shit. So you're going to charge you a lot for that. But this processed shit, we can make this at any time from anything. So this is cheap.
It's artificial. Yeah. And then plus, the preservatives, to keep it fresh, it's cheap.
Yeah.
So like, the unhealthy stuff, you can put that on the shelf for 6 months. Mm-hmm. The healthy stuff, if you don't eat it today, it's bad tomorrow. Yeah. So it's like just transporting it, all the expenses associated with that.
You sent me a video, and I still don't know how I feel about that, where they printed that steak.
They printed a steak?
3D printed a steak.
3D printed a steak.
So what did they use for the ingredients?
It
was actually like soy, something else.
It looked like a quinoa steak. Like, it looked weird. Like a flat...
Wow.
It looked like a sponge, like a dish sponge.
So it was tofu.
Basically.
It looked very bad.
So they printed a tofu steak.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah.
I would not eat it. It looked so bad. It looked so bad.
And I know that they do have, the clone meats out there. I still don't know if it's actually for sale.
I was about to say I don't think so, but you know what? If I really think about that, I honestly don't know. I know that they have like clone sheep and stuff, but from what I understand, I could be 100% wrong. I don't think that they're like out there cloning cows and being like, all right, now we're just going to throw this into the herd with every other cow. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're not cloning them. I'm just saying I don't think that they've gotten to the point where you go to a farm and the farmer is like, welcome to my cloned cow farm. I don't think that's a thing yet.
Okay, so that's what I was asking. Like, do they clone the actual cow, or do they clone the actual meat after
the
it's
cow?
done? Okay,
That's a cow.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, they clone the cow.
I was like, I don't know which one is worse, but I guess cloning the meat after it's done is worse. I guess I would say, I would definitely have to say that.
Yeah,
I would think so.
I would imagine so. Like, to think about them like growing a steak like in a petri dish, and then it's like just a steak growing in the dish. That's fucking nasty.
Yeah, that's how I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that is worse, but I kind of feel like we comparing like, terrible to awful. It's like
We are. We absolutely are.
I mean, I mean, in the society we have, we're trusting science to do everything for us nowadays. Pretty much, people who like can't have kids have them like in a scientific way and whatnot. So,
you know what I find to be a little weird? There is a documentary on Netflix regarding what you were talking about with science, where people who believe that the Earth is flat are just like, well, science is just telling me that, the Earth is round, but I can look right there and just see that it just keeps going. It's just flat. And I'm like...
I never did understand, like, if they do think that the Earth is flat, what is the conspiracy? Like, what is the reason that we would want them to believe that the Earth is spirit? What are people getting out of it? Like, what is the government getting out of that? Like, we want you to believe that.
We want you to believe the world is round so that you can give us all your money. How does that have anything to do with money?
I'm trying to figure out, like, why do they think this is such a conspiracy? Like, I don't get that at all.
I don't either.
And people that say the Earth is flat, okay, fine. You can see the end of it, right? Because you can only see a certain flat distance. So that's your logic for saying it is flat? Okay. So you telling me that you can see the end of the world. So if there's somebody in Ethiopia right now, you tell me you can see him? Obviously, you can't see the end of the world.
I see it way over there. Yeah, you definitely cannot see it.
It's so damn big, like you can only see a small portion of it.
It always kills me when they show like the pictures and the videos from outer space and whatnot. They're like, "Oh, it's doctored, it's fake." I was like, "Okay, well, show us your fake and doctored flat Earth."
Exactly.
Like, where is it? Well, like, if that's fake and doctored, like, just show us how flat Earth looks then, without a diagram or looking like whatever the hell it is.
And why has no one fallen off?
Oh, you watch Game of Thrones? It's the wall. It's the ice wall.
That's the answer.
It's literally Game of Thrones.
So where's this real life ice wall at?
It's called Antarctica, T. What do you mean?
Yeah, according to them, Antarctica pretty much covers the entire Earth, like around it.
Okay, so it's like the circumference of the Earth. So.
Yeah, there's a giant ice wall around the Earth.
But it's flat.
It's a circle.
So,
it's flat, but it's a circle.
Oh, okay.
That's what they say. It's flat, but it's a flat circle. Okay. It's a circle, not a sphere.
So it's like a plate.
Yes.
Okay,
and there's an ice wall around the plate.
With an ice rim around the plate.
So when they say all they see is flat surface, and so that's why they think it's flat. So they're implying that they can see the end of the Earth.
Yes.
So why the hell can't I see this ice wall?
You can. You just have to go to Antarctica.
Well, I can't see Antarctica from here.
He's talking about the people that say that it's flat Earth because when they look out from the what's name, it looks flat.
Oh, you're not up high enough.
Wow. Okay, so tell me any one person who's been high enough to where they can see both ends of the world.
We've had several
end to end and say, you know what, this is the end. I can see the extent of the entire Earth.
Yeah.
No one can tell you that. So where are they getting this logic of, oh, it must be flat because this is all I see? Who's seen it?
They have no evidence to the contrary. They just say that everything that people believe about a sphere is not real. But they don't have evidence to prove their case. They just say that our evidence is fake and doctored. But they don't have evidence that they can prove themselves.
Yeah. There's more evidence that states that it's round, though. I mean...
No.
That's mad.
That's fake news.
No evidence whatsoever.
But I mean, just seeing certain things like the horizon, especially like when the sun comes up and stuff, you can see like it's a bend in it. But maybe that's just the way that the eye is.
Well, according to them, since like you're flat on the ground, like say the Earth is flat on a flat surface, and the sun, where we're used to the sun in our solar system being like not directly over the top of the Earth, but like kind of to the side and to the top, kind of when we like orbit around it. According to them, the Earth is flat and the sun is on top, over the top of the Earth. Sun and moon, over the top. Which is why we see it the way we see it. And they rotate around.
Rotate around what, though? We flat.
They rotate around the flat surface.
So at some point...
yeah, the sun and the moon rotate around the Earth.
The sun?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. So
what I don't get is how does the wall stay frozen on all sides?
Yeah. And if that's the case, we all flat. Why do we have different time zones? Like right now, it's night in another place, but I don't get this shit.
Because the sun moves.
Because the sun moves.
But it's flat.
But yeah, if it's flat,
the sun is moving around the plate.
Yeah, so it's still moving around. So
so if at some point the plate that we call Earth is literally above the sun, so like the sun is only lighting up the underside of the plate.
So people live under.
So why is it that the whole top part of the plate isn't dark?
Yeah.
So the whole population should be in dark
at one
that
point.
Moment. Yeah. When the Earth is directly underneath this plate, the top part of the plate should all be dark.
According to them, the sun is so large that when it's at a certain point, it can still light up part of the Earth.
No, that ain't no fucking. Come on, man.
It's flat.
You can do a simple science experiment.
You know what? I did not expect you to have an answer for that one, D.
What I always ask is that we know the polar ice caps are melting, right? Mm-hmm. In our theory, when the polar ice caps melt, we all get flooded. What happens in their theory? Does it just fall off the side of the Earth? Like it just falls off? Like
it just drips.
It's just gonna be like just a rush of water just fall off the Earth into space. We have plenty of satellites in space. They can't debunk that. That's fact. Yeah, you know that.
So you can see down looking. It's like, come on, man.
No. Who put the satellites up there?
The rockets.
How do the satellites stay then? Because there's mathematical formulas that can calculate, the speed that the satellite has to move in order to stay in orbit without falling back to Earth. Like this math.
All that is a lie. That's a lie. I just made up some math and wrote it down on a piece of paper. Because it ain't moving.
Somebody up there holding it with their hand.
But that satellite ain't moving.
That's pretty much what they do. They don't provide evidence themselves. They just sit there and try to debunk the original notion that it's here.
Have you been on the satellite?
Yes, I have. Prove to me that I haven't.
I like it. You know what? This is an RKelly defense mechanism right now.
Yeah. Would you have jet lag on a flat Earth? Like if you just go in a straight distance? Like if you're not going around a sphere. Like if you're not going into like a circle like this. If you're just going straight. Like if I'm going from one side of the planet to the other, it would just be a straight line, right?
It would, but yes, you would have jet lag because remember the sun is moving around the Earth.
What is the time zone though?
If it you silly.
Because right now, like I only get dizzy if I go in a circle.
Yeah, if you spin.
I don't get dizzy if I'm going straight, or like I don't have any like momentum, like any type of equilibrium changes if I'm just going straight back and forth.
You're right, and that's why the Earth doesn't get dizzy. Because it's not moving.
Oh, man.
I love talking to the flat Earth people. It's so fun.
Like, this is what they thought in, like, the 1400s. Like, somebody had to, they had breakthroughs and people figured it out. And then we've built, 500 years of knowledge since then. You trying to take us back and erase all of that and start from scratch?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Oh my God.
Where's the West and East Pole? Because they always talk about the North and South Pole being covered in
valid point
and ice. Where's the West and East Pole?
And if that's the case, how do you explain places like Australia? Like that is so far, away from other countries and stuff. There's no way somebody just walked fucking there.
Nobody said anything about walking.
Well, I mean, if it's a flat surface, and I'm sorry, right now it is what?
You take a boat. What you mean, Jessica?
No. What I'm saying is they're so far from us to have their own civilization and everything like that. There is a complete different ecosystem and everything there. It is a billion times hotter than it is anywhere else. But you have
they out there by the West Pole.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But we have this theory of an ice wall every fucking where. I'm sorry. This doesn't make any sense.
If we're flat, our season should be
the same.
Yeah. Our season should be.
Our temperature should pretty much be the same.
And then think about your flights. You can literally have a flight that goes from the U.S. to China, and then from China to somewhere else, and then from somewhere else back to the U.S. You can literally trace the same straight line.
Oh yeah.
And end up right back where you started.
Yeah.
How do you justify that? How the fuck do you leave the U.S., fly in a straight line, and end up back in the U.S.?
The funny thing is,
because what maps are they using, D? Where the maps come from, T? The government.
What?
The government.
He said, where the map come from, T?
How you know which way you're going? Who told you north was north? The government. Lies.
Same person that told us about the West Pole.
Yeah, it's pretty much along those lines. When somebody brought that up on the Flat Earth forums, somebody came back and said, were you the pilot on the plane that you flew? It was like, no, so how do you know what path you took? That's what they would say. That is their logic. They don't disprove you. They just say, are you sure you did that?
Okay, are you sure the Earth is flat? Where's your proof?
They don't have any.
Oh my God. Okay. Like I said, this is pretty much an RKelly defense. And why is that? Because that crazy ass interview that he did with Gayle King. That is what
it loves all women.
I hate you. So
we can relate to that. We love all women.
Anytime Gayle asks
30 years I've given.
Anytime Gayle asked him any kind of question, he was like, well, what about them? Well, why would they bring their kids to my concert?
Just defense.
Nigga, why would you sleep with a child?
Yeah.
But he's incriminating himself when he says that. It's like, well, I blame the parents, because blame them for what?
Yeah.
What are you admitting to?
I mean, well, when she asked him, like, so why would someone do that? Because they want money. Because I'm a rich man. And of course.
You can't even get out of jail.
Why you can't pay child support? Because I'm a poor man. I can't pay for child support. Like, what?
So you rich and poor.
I didn't understand what he thought he was going to accomplish by doing the interview.
Well, all his lawyers should be fired. Johnny Cochran is rolling over in his grave. Mm-hmm. He's literally rolling over. That was the dumb. Like, why would you allow him to go on TV and say at all?
I know he wanted to, appeal to the public opinion or whatnot, but it's like, that's not who's going to put you in jail, boo-boo.
Well, even if you're going to do that, at least keep your cool. Like, if you're going to do that, make sure you keep your cool. People are accusing you of very, vile and violent type things. Mm. And first, one of the things you do is get very angry and upset with a woman reporter. Like, come on, man. It was terrible all the way around. Yeah. It was a horrible look for him.
But I loved the memes, though. Happy Friday. May you be as unbothered as Gayle. Because the way she looked when he was just yelling and cussing and fussing, she was just like, okay, that's nice. And she was saying that she never thought he would hurt her, but she thought that he may accidentally hit her because he's flailing around and things like that. But she also felt like if she stayed calm, that he stayed calm. And if she, mentioned his name and kind of just stayed straightforward, that he wouldn't continue to pop off.
What was his name?
Robert.
Victim.
Shut up.
I'm not going to call you that.
That SNL skit was ridiculous. So SNL did a skit, I think it was a week after it or whatnot.
Yeah,
it was with Kenan
Saturday.
Thompson and Leslie Jones, who are comedians on the SNL cast. And Leslie was actually playing Gayle and Kenan was playing RKelly. And every time...
Victim.
Every time Gayle would ask the question, he's like, no, my name is Victim.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm not calling you that.
Okay.
Please call me Victim.
Yeah, please. Yeah. So, Robert, Victim, no.
I mean, we making jokes about this, but honestly, it's gotten to the point where it is just memeable. It makes no sense. Mm-hmm. It unfortunately kind of brought in bullshit on Michael Jackson as well, where you have two accusers who are now coming out with this documentary called Leaving Neverland, which follow the same lines as the Surviving RKelly series, where these two people were saying that they were molested by Michael Jackson for years.
One of them was someone who testified that he
Both
didn't.
of them, actually.
Oh, both of them?
Yeah.
Even worse.
So both of them at one point in time testified that Michael Jackson had not touched him. They'd never experienced any sort of sexual contact with him when he was previously accused of these charges. I forgot what year that was, where he's dancing on cars and shit outside. But he was acquitted of those charges. And now, how long? Is it 12 years after Michael died? 11 years? Something like that.
He died in 2009, right?
08, 09. One or the other.
Yeah.
A decade. It's been a decade. They're now saying that Michael Jackson, they were in a relationship with him, a sexual relationship with him for years. And why they said they didn't come across...
I was going to say, yeah, why did they testify that none of this happened?
I really can't give you a clear answer. They were just saying that they were victims and, it was a kind of Stockholm thing where they felt for him or whatnot. And the guy, Wade Robson, who is actually the one who broke up Britney and Justin, because that's who she had her affair with when she was dating Justin Timberlake, said that he is now a father and he just can't condone it anymore. And I'm like, okay.
Condone it when you're not a father?
I guess so.
Right is right and wrong is wrong, regardless of who you are. What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. But it was also funny that both people are in financial trouble right now, too.
Of course.
So
that's why this comes out. I just hate that you would come out and do this against a man who can't defend himself.
What I hate is that it gives credence to people who say that this stuff doesn't happen as much as it does.
Yeah.
And makes it hard for people to believe you later on. I mean, this may have happened to them. I don't believe it. But there's no way to sit there and know now.
Yeah, there's no way, because, I mean, it's one side of the story. And I think R. Kelly did it. Mike, I just think he was a very weird person, and people took advantage of that.
Yeah.
I really think he was one of those weird kids that he socially awkward. And
but he was a genius musically.
Yeah.
Wait, rewind back. You said you think R. Kelly did it.
R. Kelly did it.
Yeah. I was like, there's tapes.
No. I wasn't trying to deny that he did it. No. Just wording. He definitely did it. But Mike, I really do think he's just a very socially awkward and very weird person he was a kid trapped in a human, because I guess he didn't really have a childhood. I understand there's a lot of people that never had a childhood, but they didn't grow up as weird as this motherfucker.
No.
He was very weird, and he did things that I would consider like weird. I don't do that kind of stuff. But in his mind, he's innocent. He's not trying to do the things that you're saying.
It's not malicious intent.
Yeah.
Like, he was just trying to, I think a lot of the times, make people comfortable because, one, he was Michael Jackson. And I'm pretty sure that came with a lot of people feeling awkward, like this is like the biggest pop star in the world. But also just like, no, I'm just a person. I just want to be friends with you. And someone who actually did not necessarily grow up with the same social skills that we grew up, acquiring. You just be like, okay, you want to play video games? You want to have a sleepover?
And people think just because you're a celebrity that you're supposed to be like good socially, like you're supposed to know how to talk to them. Like, no, like Marshawn Lynch is a good example of that. He's like, I don't like talking to people. He's like, I shouldn't have to do, like, just because I'm great at what I do, that doesn't mean I'm accepting talking to any and whoever. Like, I don't like doing it.
I think Mike did some things that the normal person wouldn't do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that were questionable. The sleeping with the kids, well, like literally sleeping.
Yeah, like sleeping, not having sex with them, but sleeping in bed.
Sharing a bed with the kids.
Like, I think he did that stuff.
Yeah, he did. I believe he did those things. But some people would look at that and be like, in hindsight, some of those kids may look at that 30 years later and say, whoa, that was kind of unusual. That probably shouldn't have happened. Yeah. And now I feel uncomfortable about it. Yeah. And so then, you exaggerate and be like, oh, he did me wrong. It wasn't as wrong as you think. Like, he didn't necessarily have sex with the kids or anything like that. But I do think that he did some things that may make kids parents feel uncomfortable.
Feel weird,
30 years later when you look back on it in hindsight. Yeah. But it wasn't nearly, I don't believe, to the extreme that people are claiming today. It's just...
There's nothing to show that it was necessarily. It's just every single case that came up, it was somebody trying to get money or was asking for money at one point in time. He said no, and then they came up with this stuff. Yeah. In most of those instances.
Yeah. And because he did share a bed with them, it gives a little bit of credence to the story. So they can claim all of this stuff and be like, oh yeah, because we shared a bed together and blah, blah, blah. Is this true, Mike? Well, we did share a bed together. It must be true.
I feel like Mike would be like, yeah, we did, but I thought you wanted that.
Yeah, and saying it that way, that's creepy as fuck.
I
don't even like to hear you say that.
But he sound like Teddy, what you call it? Teddy Perkins.
Jules, what's your take?
I think that Mike, was just a weird person who did weird things. I don't think that he went as far as they're claiming that he went in this documentary. I think he did some things that a normal person would not do, and stuff that people would look at and say that that's definitely inappropriate. And it created room for people to try and take advantage of it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. One of the things that I found to be ridiculous necessarily, well, not necessarily ridiculous, but I guess everybody has to make their choice. And D.O. Hughes made a very good point about it. A lot of people actually in New Zealand, they stopped playing Michael Jackson songs on the radio, period. They took it off all radio stations. Well, most radio stations, but then again, they're all owned by like one parent company or something.
You can't remove Michael Jackson's music from history. You just got to remove music.
And I was reading something a couple weeks ago that made a lot of sense. The key difference between Michael Jackson's and R. Kelly's case, besides the fact of whether they did it or not, is the fact that one's still alive and one's not. And the reason that's important is because Mike is not benefiting anything from you listening to his music. Mm-hmm. But R. Kelly still is.
Right.
So, you boycott his music. Okay, you taking money out of his pockets. You punishing him for what he did, which is fair.
Yeah.
Mike, you stop listening to Mike's music, That ain't gonna do nothing to Mike. What's this gonna do? Bring him from the grave?
At that point,
nothing that you can accomplish. The only thing you're doing is taking possible money out of his kids.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's only affecting the children.
But the kids didn't do nothing wrong. Yeah. So why you boycott his music? Why would you intentionally hurt the kids because of what he did?
Yeah.
Or allegedly did.
Yeah.
You know?
Unfortunately, Wendy Williams had asked D.L. Hughley about it, and he was saying
she's back.
Yeah.
No, I was asking seriously. I thought she had went off like for a bit.
She did for a bit, but she came back.
Yeah, he back.
And God damn, T.
Oh man.
Right?
I just realized what happened. It took me a second to catch up. That's messed up.
But D.L. Hughley was like, whether they necessarily did it or not, you have to make your decision on your own, whether or not you want to listen to the music. But we listen and sing the national anthem with no issues. What's the problem?
I would put my life savings on the line and say that I don't think there's a person who is a Michael Jackson fan or who listens to Michael Jackson music who will be able to go the rest of their life without listening to a Michael Jackson song. I would put my life savings on that. No way in hell. It ain't happening. Somebody else, possibly. Not Mike's. Don't see it happening.
Yeah. I don't know.
One song gonna come on, you're gonna start singing it, then you're gonna start listening to the whole goddamn discography. Happens to me every time.
But you know what's gonna happen now, right? Somebody in the comments is gonna take you up on that offer, sir.
Oh yeah. Shit. Get it down in writing.
Oh Lord, here we go.
I will take it.
That's when he's going to put a fake link to something else, and it's going to be a link to a Michael Jackson song. Yeah. When they click it. Thriller!
God But I did see Paris Jackson, which is Michael Jackson's daughter, was basically like, I'm not defending this anymore. And people were like, what do you mean? She's like, there's nothing else that I can say that will make you believe it. If you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, you don't. Mm-hmm. I know how I feel and what my father, who he was and everything like that. I'm tired of having to say it over and over. I'm done. I'm like, I got you, babe. I feel you.
I just don't understand why anybody would give credence to people who have already shown that they will lie. If you believe them now, that means you believe that they lied before. So what makes you think that you will believe them?
Yeah, that's what I don't know.
I don't understand that. Like, if they lied on the witness stand, they were willing to... Is that not perjury? Wait a minute. Like,
yeah.
How did they get away with that?
People are looking into that, and I'm really not sure what's the legal precedent on that, but yeah, people are trying to see how it is that they're not able to be persecuted for that.
Yeah, but even so, regardless of that, if you believe them now, that means you had to believe that they lied before.
Yep.
So I just don't understand what credence would you give them now? Like, why do you believe them now?
Oprah did an interview right after it was an interview of both of the people, and she asked very tough questions, and other people were saying, how could she defend Michael Jackson and things like that? And she was just saying, I'm not defending anything. I'm just asking them questions that everybody wants to know. Why would you do this now? How can I believe you? And what are you benefiting from this? And they keep saying that they didn't get paid for this, but other people, which I didn't think about later on, and people were saying that they may have gotten services for it.
Well, here's the thing. With something like that, you don't have to get paid specifically for doing a documentary. But see, now I'm getting paid to do interviews. Now I'm getting paid for appearance fees. Now I'm getting paid for this book I'm about to write. Like, there's other ways to get paid from it other than just say, oh, I didn't get paid doing this documentary.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. It's easy to get around that I didn't get paid for this directly type thing nowadays because you're getting benefited. You're benefiting from it from the very beginning, regardless if it's a direct benefit that hits you immediately.
Yeah, I still don't know about this.
I know. But Mike didn't do that.
Well, no. This entire thing, I just think is just a fucked up situation, but it shines a bigger light on things that are going on in Hollywood, which brings me to my next topic. It has now been found out that the largest cheating scandal within college admissions has been found out. Basically, what everyone has always kind of thought, that the rich buy their way into things.
Get richer.
Well, no. But, they have more access to things and they buy their way into colleges and places like that. But now it is stone cold proof that has caught celebrities and very wealthy people within the financial sector, law enforcement, all kind of things. And a few notable celebrities is Lori Loughlin, which is Aunt Becky?
Yeah,
Aunt Becky from Full House, and Felicity Huffman, who was on Desperate Housewives. It is so funny. Lori Loughlin, she paid close to $500,000 for her daughters to get into USC, basically through this guy who would orchestrate the entire ring. Basically, it would be test takers, admissions representatives, coaches, SAT prep people. It was all kind of things that would actually be encompassing of it. But Lori paid $500,000 for her daughters to go to get into USC. How fucking mediocre is your daughters that they can't fucking get into USC? That you have to pay $500,000 to somebody to get them in.
I mean, they could have did like, you know, the old-fashioned way that rich people do it. Donate money to the school, to the foundation, or buy a building or something.
Well,
get your student.
Honestly, I'm not that mad at that because the other kids on the campus get the benefit from it. They get a new facility. You know, they get a new facility. They get a new library. They get new stuff that they can get grants and stuff to be able to do more things. Everybody benefits. Who the fuck benefits from this other than this guy?
That's the reason it made a big headlines, is because they did it a different way. I mean, this stuff has been going on for
well, yeah, but it's
but
I
this
think
time it wasn't, I'm going to pay the school to get my kid in.
Yeah.
This time it was, I'm going to pay this guy to do this and then do this and do this, and then eventually it's going to lead to my kid getting in.
Yeah.
We put all these hoops in the middle, and so it's a different approach. And so that's why it was like, oh, wow, we've never seen this before.
How did they think these, like, rich kids who can't even spell their name got into schools? Like, what did you think? Like, I don't understand. What did you think?
It was always people said that this was happening. It was like a gut feeling that people, you knew it. But to actually have stone cold proof is kind of bittersweet. It's just like, you know that the shit is stacked against you now, no matter what you do. But for minorities, it's different because you already know that.
Yeah.
That's just life. But white people see it now. Well, not white people, but all people see it now. Yeah. Where, hey, this shit is true. You didn't get in because of this. That is just it.
Yeah, like half them people probably wouldn't have graduated. Paris Hilton wouldn't have graduated high school. She didn't. Come on now.
Did she graduate?
I don't know.
She got a degree.
She got a degree.
A degree?
Yeah.
In what?
Come on now.
See? Business.
Hotel management. What you think?
It's business.
Obviously, her degree is in hotel management.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, I think it's business or something like that.
Come on, man. But yeah, people like that, it's just common sense. Like, you'd have to be a flat earth thinker to understand, like, to believe that this is something that does not happen.
Hold on. Let me say this. We are not saying that flat earth thinking people are stupid or anything like that. We just...
I won't call them stupid. I call them ignorant. You can be ignorant.
Yeah. We'll say ignorant. We're not downing them. We're just a difference of opinion. Agree to disagree. That's it.
You niggas ignorant.
But
literally ignore the
facts. But I just found it to be so funny that as soon as this came out, they got arrested or whatnot, and they're not making their mugshots and everything public. They're not showing them in court and everything like that. The daughters dropped out of school.
Really?
Yeah.
After I did all this shit to get you in there?
Bitch, I may serve 5 to 10 for you, and you gonna drop out?
Serve 4 in school.
I spent $500 million.
You know what that tells me? That the kids were never into this to begin with. Their parents just forced them to go.
Well, they said they're dropping out because of bullying.
Yep. Bullying.
Because people are coming at them now saying you didn't deserve to be here, blah, blah, blah.
People in college are coming at them?
Yeah.
Who gets bullied in college?
Apparently.
How does that happen?
Apparently them. It does. It can happen. Harassment.
I mean, yeah, I can see people harassing somebody in college. I can see getting harassed.
Don't say. I wouldn't say bullying.
Well,
I ain't never seen no rich person get bullied in college.
Well, they specifically did say bullying, but I would actually classify it as harassment for what they said that they were going through.
Well then you can file charges on that.
Yeah.
Very easily. But they just went ahead and dropped out.
I don't know, man. You can't file charges on the whole campus. You can't put everybody.
You can sue the school for creating an environment that was
you
not
can't.
fit.
The school didn't create that environment. Your mama did it.
Jules, this is our justice system nowadays. I've seen people get sued for worse.
Yeah, you're right. But your mama created that environment. It wasn't the school's fault. Your mom got caught. Might be our fault. We took the money.
You know what Johnny Cochran would say, Jules? What school did your mama go to? This school. You created her.
But if you're rich, you can technically sue anybody. Because you can just tie the whole shit up in litigation and they ain't going to be able to afford the lawyer fees. No. That's what Trump does all the time. Like, he'll sue people. Like, even though he know he wrong and shit, he'll just have his lawyers just sue him and tie him up in litigation and shit until eventually they're like, you know what, fuck it.
I'm paying $800,000 in lawyer fees. I can't afford
settle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of lawsuits that have actually come out for people who were saying that their child didn't get in or they were discriminated against because they weren't able to be accepted by the school because of this, because they took their spots, because they would only have so many spots or whatever. Yeah. So I think how much money is it,
Joe? Who knows how much money it is? I know they're trying to make, right now it's just 2 girls as far as I know. Like one who actually got into USC and another one who applied to Stanford but didn't get in. And they're basically suing, saying, one of them is saying, hey, I paid the application fee and I paid that for a fair process. Now I'm finding out that the process wasn't fair and I didn't get accepted. So they're trying to make these class action lawsuits. So it really seems like anybody who applied to these schools and didn't get in might be able to get in on this class action lawsuit.
Everybody gets
and once it gets to
$17.
that point,
but I wonder
who
how
knows
far
what
it
that
goes
would do
back.
to the school or to the families. Yeah, like who knows even how far they would say that this goes back.
I don't think the rich people realize, like, when you start this journey, your money better be long enough to continue it until the day you die. And even after that. Because once it's going to get to a point, you're going to consistently get blackmailed over and over and over and over. Like when you first do the blackmail, okay, yeah, I'll pay this much to get my child in. Now, how much you going to pay to keep the next person quiet? Like once somebody finds out about it, you're going to have to pay that motherfucker off. Somebody else finds out about it, you're going to have to pay that person off. I'm assuming that's how this eventually ended up coming out. Somebody got to the end of the line where I know about this shit. I ain't getting paid. Nobody would have paid me. So
that's exactly.
I wonder how it came out.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what happened. So there was a guy being investigated by the SEC for trade fraud or whatever, something like that. And he was like, y'all talking about me. I know this thing. Yeah. I know about this. And they were like, what you talking about?
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing about this. And
you get me off on my charges, I'll let you know about something even bigger.
Yeah, because he had actually paid for that and went ahead and they started doing wiretaps and all kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they realize once you start that lie has to continue forever.
Yeah, it's crazy how much stuff was involved in that. Like even to the point where they had the kids pretending they were on these sports teams so they could get accepted as an athlete.
Athlete?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so easily gonna get you caught though.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the only person on the team that don't ever play.
So T, this is what they were doing. So they would be on the team for like one semester. And let's say you on like a team that's out of season in the fall. Once you in the school, you just quit the fucking team. Like you never ever actually have to be on the team. You just quit. It's not that you got a scholarship to be on the team. They just said you were an athlete so that your requirements weren't as strict or so that the coach could just be like, I want this person to get accepted because this is one of my recruits. And then you just quit the team.
Or the instances in that same process where they would actually Photoshop the children doing things from other athletes.
Doing things?
Yeah. So you submit a profile to the school saying this kid can do this and that. He is a great track and field marvel or whatever.
And then you send in a Zion Williamson video
where the person's face is cut out and it's like you doing everything and they put my face on yours. Well, it's pretty much the same face anyway, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think one of the wiretaps, they got like a coach saying, hey, like apparently looking at a picture and he's like, hey, no one in the world is going to believe that this kid can jump this high out of the water. So you might want to redo this. And then also, I am going to go ahead and put him on the list.
And also one of the things is that they would have the kids be, quotations, diagnosed with learning disabilities or mental disorders in certain ways so they could have less stringent requirements to do
I'll be honest, a lot of them probably actually had those diagnoses before they went in. Them kids are dumb as hell.
But it's just like, and then
if you got to do that, your kid is dumb as hell.
The fees started at $15,000. So Felicity Huffman, that's what she actually did. It was $15,000 that she paid so that the test taker, when her daughter took the SATs, I think she only got like
a 7.
I think it was like 9. I think it was like 1,000 or maybe 900 or something like that.
You should be able to get into a lot of schools with. Well, actually, when I was in school,
yes. The point system.
Is different now. It's like it was 1,600 then.
Yeah, it was 1,600.
I think it's like 2,400 now or whatever.
What is the purpose of increasing the number? Just
for shit like this, because you would have kids who would max it or hit the perfect score and stuff like that. They were like, okay, well, we have to change what is actually being.
Yeah, but you can leave the number the same. You just change how it's calculated.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
When they went to a 5.0 system, that's when I was like, I can't do this shit.
But hold on, the piece.
Oh, they got 5. Wait.
Yeah, it's a 5.0 now.
The piece to this whole situation I don't get is okay. So you got all this money, and you're obviously willing to spend it all willy nilly to get your kid into the school. Why not actually get them the help they need so that they could actually qualify to be admitted?
That's what I'm saying. How mediocre is this child?
Because I didn't work for all the tutors in the world.
That's what I'm saying. They had tutors.
I didn't work for all this money to take the long way.
How fucking mediocre is your kid?
What is your kid gonna do with a degree? They don't know how to do shit with it.
Think about it this way too. That shines a light on a whole. I'm not even sure this is an issue, but think about the people who don't have the means to do that. Like here you are with your rich self. You have access to all kind of tutors and supplemental test taking services. Meanwhile, in the hood, you might have somebody who's, extremely intelligent, who's literally never going to have that opportunity.
Yep.
Just because they literally can't afford it. And here you are, you can afford it. And your mediocre child it's apparently so mediocre that you just had to say, fuck it. I'm just going to cheat to get them in.
They failed the shape test. That little toy that you used to when you were a kid, where you got to put the square into the square, the circle into the circle. They failed it.
This 3-sided square won't go into the 4-sided square.
Oh, God, we're going to lose so much money getting this child into school.
And the thing is that some of the kids knew about this. Most of the kids did not. The ones that did know about it, you ain't got no self-pride in this shit. You can't, because they're going to have to continue doing this. You couldn't get into college. Are they going to have to buy you to get a job?
Self-pride. If they're the kind of rich people that I'm thinking about, they're snobbish. They just already think that they're better than you. They don't have to be smarter than you. Just because they got more money, they feel like they're better than you.
That's a good point, though. Like, to even add on to that, once they get in, how are they going to even sustain it?
Yeah.
So how do you get an A or how do you get a passing grade in Physics 101 when you don't... Exactly. So
you got to keep paying them off. That's what I'm saying. You got to keep paying them off.
Then you graduate. You done spend all this fucking money plus the tuition. Tuition is already expensive. We didn't mention that. But you done bribed all this money plus had to pay all this tuition. The kid graduates, don't know jack shit, can't get a job. What they gonna do?
They gotta keep taking care of them.
They gonna go home and live with you, and you gonna take care of them. What they need a degree for that for? To live in your house and freeload off you.
Could they just pay for a damn transcript, like a fake transcript? Couldn't they pay for one?
That would probably be.
Yeah, that probably would have been cheaper.
Yeah.
just secretary lady,
well,
bitch, or whatever the fuck it is.
SAT school though.
Whoever the hell prints out the damn school. I would just assume that there was. Not saying I'm diabolical, but there's lots of different ways they could have went about it. Yeah, they could have went about this, but obviously
none of this just made any sense, like feasible. It made no sense, and clearly it was something that's been going on for a long time. So many people knew about it, and I think upwards of at least 50 well-established people have been charged in this. And it's just insane.
Well, this is when they put their whole theory to the test. Let's see if money can buy everything for them. If they can buy their way out of this.
We'll see.
See how it goes.
I'm going to go ahead and lean towards the answer is yes. Some of them, I'm not going to say all of them. All of them might not have the means to do it, but there's definitely going to be a few of them that are just like, here's $1 billion. I'm just going to go back home now.
And you're not going to bother me. You're not going to bother me.
And it probably will end up being like you said about like Trump. I'm not saying that they're just going to literally give somebody $1 billion, but they'll just be like, here's my lawyer that gets paid $100 million a year. You just keep them busy until I die.
Mm-hmm. Keep them busy.
Yeah.
Vice President of pencil sharpening.
So I don't know if y'all really been following this whole national emergency thing with the border wall. So just to kind of recap, a few months ago, we had this whole government shutdown because Trump wanted funding for his border wall, and Congress wouldn't give it to him. So couldn't agree on the budget. We had the government shut down. Eventually, Trump gave in and was like, okay, fine, I'll agree to your budget. And so we opened the government back up. Everything's good, right? Mm-hmm. For 15 days or for some short period of time. And then he decided, well, since I couldn't get the funding by holding the whole government hostage through a shutdown, I want to declare a national emergency to try to get the funding. So he does that. And then Congress recently said, you know what? That's not an emergency. So we're going to come up with some legislation to basically,
block that.
To block that. And he basically came back after that and said, no, I'm going to veto that legislation. And so I guess it's still kind of in this whole limbo. I guess it's still going to be a national emergency. He's still trying to push it. But it was something funny that I read the other day. They were saying that the night before the Congress vote, a couple of the congressmen, Republicans, went to try to talk to him about it before they voted. And he was mad that they interrupted his dinner to talk about this. Now, this is a national emergency, right? But he's mad that they interrupted his McDonald's French fries to talk about this shit that he said was an emergency. It's just a highlight of the hypocritical nature of the orange guy in charge.
I saw that he had displayed yet again his prowess in signing and just showing the veto. I was like, why the fuck do I care to see this? I have never seen a veto being shown on TV ever.
But that's all. He's a showman. That is all he is. Like, he is 100% showman. He has no other skills whatsoever besides being a showman. That's how he's gotten everywhere he's gotten in life. I mean, he's made money off being a showman. He will have a negotiation with you, but he will put on a big show to make it seem like he's so much bigger than you, and then get you to cave in, and he gets his way. That's what he always does. That's all his deals.
A lot of businessmen will also say that he hasn't made any money.
Well, yeah, it's all show. Yeah. I'm going to make it look like I made a lot of money, and then you'll believe that I'm rich, and then you'll give me money because I'm rich.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. But yeah, he vetoed that, and now we're back in limbo. Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, made a very good point that this sets a dangerous precedent that the next president could sit there and say, well, guns is a national emergency and we need to take those away. And Republicans would hate for that to happen.
That's why it's so hilarious that some of them are trying to support Donald Trump on this. Because you know immediately, as soon as President Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez takes office, she gonna be like, the climate change, national emergency, guns, national emergency, Medicare for all, national emergency. What you gonna do? Nothing.
Yep.
If that's the path they want to go, they need to be ready for all of its consequences, because that's definitely coming.
That's what I've been trying to tell people since Trump got elected. Y'all let this dude get in here, so when Flavor Flav becomes president in 2032, you can't say shit. You opened Pandora's box. You set the tone. So now we're going to have fucking President Dennis Rodman because of what y'all been saying.
I think he's like a North Korean citizen now.
Doesn't mean he wouldn't run.
That don't mean nothing. If Donald Trump can win, Dennis Rodman can win too, damn it.
Okay, this was something I saw, and it just kind of spoke to this is the world that we're living in now. So, your favorite restaurants.
Taco Bell?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There was a video that was going around that was showing that 2 or 3 employees actually got into a fight with a customer because they were complaining on the wait times. What's the longest you would wait for anything at Taco Bell?
5 minutes.
T?
Yeah, about 5 minutes.
Jules?
My first thought was 5 minutes.
Okay. So people were waiting 45 minutes for food.
Why?
Exactly.
Left. Why didn't you just leave?
Yeah, no.
Like, your order was probably $3.72 total.
The whole purpose
why would you...
is of fast food is for me to get it in a reasonable time. If I wanted to wait 45 minutes, I would just go to a sit-down restaurant.
Yeah.
But even at a sit-down.
Even at a sit-down, that's a long-ass time.
The people behind the counter proceeded to jump it, follow the person out after he had, clearly in the right, was like, this don't make no fucking sense, filing a complaint about what is going on.
Why did you just leave?
And started a fight with him and his girlfriend in the parking lot. And it was filmed.
Oh, he was leaving.
The Taco Bell employee?
Yes.
I vote that Chick-fil-A buys out all the fast food restaurants and somehow trains every fast food employee as to how to behave.
No, actually, that is a good idea that they just do training, not necessarily buy them.
They're in charge of training.
No. They start a service where we will train any other fast food or hell, just restaurant employee on how to actually
we reserve the right to fire anybody who fails our training.
Yeah.
We will fire your employee.
You can't pass the Chick-fil-A certification. You can't be
you can't be
in restaurant business at all.
At all.
And you're right, because if you go to any Chick-fil-A, it doesn't matter. I've never been the one where anybody was upset, mad, or unhappy.
No, you do.
I've never been
pissed them off. And there was one time where the only time that Chick-fil-A has ever made me like go park and they'll bring out my food. They made me do that one time, and when they did it, it came out like a minute later. And on the bag, I didn't tell them my car or any of that stuff, but on the bag, it was like maroon sedan and had my goddamn license plate and everything on there, so they would make sure they went to the right car. Because I've been to Jack in the Box.
I tell you, I just went to Chick-fil-A last week and my receipt had that shit on it. And they didn't even tell me to go wait. Like, it came out the window like black sedan license plate number. I was like, damn, how did you even see that? When did you even?
You didn't tell them anything.
Yeah.
They just do it. Like, I don't understand it. And they print the shit out like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. I've had Jack in the Box bring my order to somebody else. Like, I've literally sat there and watched it. Like, they bring it out, and they're like, is this yours? And then I guess the person's like, nah. Then they look up, oh, it must be his. And they go over there. Like, motherfucker, well, you bringing out food. You don't even know who you're bringing it to?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
They're very coordinated with it. Have you ever ordered via the app and then went up to it?
Yeah.
I mean, that is crazy. Like, you could just order through the app, pull up, and they got your food right there.
Between the hours of 11:30 and 1, and they have somebody, a couple of people out there taking the orders from the line and paying out there, and you just drive up and you pick up your food. It's like,
It's so efficient. Like, you could go anywhere else during lunchtime and know that you're going to be waiting there for a long ass time. You're never waiting at Chick-fil-A.
The only thing, when you ask for more Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah, that's where
the chink in the armor comes in. They like, what kind of sauce you want? Chick-fil-A sauce. Okay, they put 2 in there. Can I get 2 more?
Then they got to have a meat.
Look at me like,
they want 2 more. 2 more what?
Chick-fil-A sauce. Give them some more.
They got it's
you know what? Sir. I haven't had that issue out here, at least. When they ask me what sauce I want, and I say Chick-fil-A sauce, they actually say, "How many would you like?" I'm just like, 4.
Yeah,
and they make it happen.
They haven't said that to me.
But I've also been in the car with other people where they're just like, "Well, I would like more," and it seems like it's a Family Feud moment. Everybody huddles up and they're like, "Okay, here you can have."
I feel like at any given moment they're just gonna put their hand over them, like, take the damn sauce and go. Thank you for coming, sir. You have a nice day.
But I think they do have like metrics or something that they have to do. I don't know, but you're right. It seems like it would be more high pressured there, but they are always happy.
Yeah.
They are always pleasant.
You don't know what goes on behind the scenes, man. It might be somebody back there like.
I get that, and I
actually when they burn you extra Chick-fil-A sauce, they the bottom of their feet got to get burned or something. Who knows?
I get that, and I've actually talked to a few of them, and they said, hey, I'm not having the best day, or stuff has been crazy in my life, or whatever. But they're still pleasant. I would not have known that had they not said that to begin with. You can go to any other you go to Popeyes, and you'll be like, "Damn, you just got a rough life, don't you?" And they could be like, "Nah, dude, I just won $1 million last week. Really? Why you so?"
Can I take your order? Yeah, can I get a number 7 with a curly fries? You want a number who with a number what? It's like, bitch, what?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's no manners. But yeah, I thought that was funny when I saw that.
Hello. That was the weirdest one that I've had. Oh, pulling up to a Jack in the Box. I pulled up to the speaker and the nigga said hello. I was like
I'm not knocking on the door.
I was like
the boy was on the phone and the mic at the same time. His girlfriend called. He was like, "Yes, can I take your order?"
Yeah, it was weird because it wasn't impolite, but at the same time, I'm not expecting somebody to just say hello. So I was looking. I was like, "Hey." He was like, "What you want?" I was like, "Oh, so you were talking to me?" I was like, "I didn't know." Shit.
Oh man, that is funny.
Yeah, the hello. You caught me off. You caught me way off guard with hello, man.
I remember that. I'm gonna actually send that old show to you guys when we were talking about the food. Hello, welcome to Popeyes. How are you? We closed.
Oh my goodness, that shit pissed me off. You gonna ask me what I want, then say you closed. You could have said that from the get go. That was a Jack in the Box. A Jack in the Box is a 24-hour drive-through.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't know what the hell was happening.
I'm gonna send you guys that. But yeah, let's get into our Florida headlines. I saw this and thought this is definitely Florida. Florida man in jail after hitting pregnant girlfriend with a bag of tortilla chips.
I'm sorry. That's a crime. I'm sorry. That was funny.
Of course, that wasn't all he did, but
she called the cops to say he hit me with a bag of tortilla chips.
So he was upset because she said the baby may not be his.
Valid.
He slapped her with the bag of potato chips, of course.
Okay. That was a mild response, but okay.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Technically, it was violence. I understand.
Yeah, technically, it was violence. Yeah. So, as she, of course, went to call or whatnot, I think her daughter tried to intervene between them, and that's when he, knocked the little girl down and, pushed her and stuff like that. So, that in and of itself. But she says it was all started because he slapped her with a bag of tortilla chips. I just want to know, did the bag bust? Did the bag stay firm? If they did, what kind of tortilla chips was those? Because mine always break.
Yeah. That's because it's full of air. What was that? There was a meme that was talking about that.
It was a Frito-Lay truck that turned over. And, if you didn't fill all the bags up with just air, it would have been enough weight in there so the truck wouldn't flip over.
Those damn bags kill me, man. It literally be half air. This isn't like a normal headline. I'm sorry, but I just read this and I thought I would share it. I'm going to pose it as a question. How many eggs per week it would take for you to eat before it started to cause health problems?
Well, a few dozen. A couple dozen.
When you say health problems, what do you mean?
Like heart attack, heart disease, and early death.
A couple dozen.
I don't know. Eggs per week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean per week, yeah.
I feel like it has to be a pretty significant amount of eggs.
But yeah, that's probably not enough.
Like it ain't gonna be.
Well,
like,
I mean, over a period of time.
Over a period of time.
Yeah.
Over a period of time.
Okay, yeah. If that's your lifestyle, then yeah.
Couple dozen. I would say a couple dozen.
There's a new CNN report. 3 or more eggs per week increase. 3. Not dozen. 3 or more eggs a week increase your risk of heart disease and early death.
That's one damn.
Okay, honestly, technically that is true.
But somebody, but
but anything.
Exactly.
Anything is like that.
As I'm reading the comments from the report, the first person said, "This just in: breathing outside air increases your chances of early death. Walking increases your chance of death. People who have sex are likely to die earlier than people who jerk all day." Music is bad. Movies are bad. Water is bad. Fruits kill you. Vegetables shoot you. I was just shocked by this report. I was slowly reading through it, but there's a lot to read through, so I don't know all of the details. The headline just caught me off guard.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, of course it will. I mean, the cholesterol, anything that raises your cholesterol a little bit has some sort of impact. Is it enough of an impact to say it takes 10 years off your life? No. But instead of living to be 83 years old, you might live to be 82 and a half. Okay, come on. Really? Are we going to nitpick that?
The number they have in here is a 4.4% increase in your chance.
Okay.
So
for 3 eggs? Like, come on, man. A week. Well, not a day. A week.
Let me go ahead and throw my eggs in the trash. I guess I just eat kale. I don't know what the fuck.
I'm pretty sure that kale is going to kill you somehow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure kale causes cancer or something for sure.
But it goes back to the health thing that we were talking about. We can take it a little bit too far.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
You think these two guys took it a little too far? So, the current mayor of Port Richey, Florida, and the ex-mayor of Port Richey, Florida, who was currently incarcerated,
doo-doo chasers,
conspired to intimidate the police commissioner of Port Richey, Florida, due to legal woes for the ex-mayor of Port Richey, Florida.
Why does it sound like a Simpsons episode with Chief Wiggum? What is happening here?
I was like, what the fuck? What roundabout bullshit ass that makes...
What? So the new mayor is intimidating the police chief to get the old mayor off on some crimes? Am I missing something?
Wait a minute, but you technically benefited because
you're the mayor.
You're the new mayor.
The old mayor got arrested. That's why you're mayor today. You should be thanking the police chief.
Why does the guy on the left look so familiar? The guy on the right is looking at everybody.
Oh, shit.
I don't know if Brother Jules can see
Jules,
that.
You'll be getting it in a second. But I was...
Oh, you know who he does look like somebody. He looks like the guy off, is it Just Shoot Me? Or like one of them shows with I think David Spade. And
Just Shoot
he's like the older guy on there.
He definitely...
Like he's an actor, but I can't think of nothing else he was in. He's been in a few things.
Definitely looks like someone familiar.
I can't think of the guy's name.
I don't know.
I know who you're talking about. He does look like somebody.
Yeah. This will be up on the Say What Radio website. I just saw that and was like, this really does sound like some sort of sitcom special, or this cannot be real. Mm-hmm. But then again, people are intimidating people for speed bumps in their vicinity. So remember the dude was trying to get sex for speed bumps?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. But that does not compare to our last headline. Florida woman threatens hair salon employee with machete and poops on patrol car.
How does this shit is the same headline? It sounds like two very fucked up separately situations.
All I can think of is Donald Glover stand up. You can shit on command. He's like, me and my butt, we don't have that kind of relationship. We gotta.
Yeah.
I don't want to know how she shit on the patrol car. Never mind.
She shit on the patrol car.
Was it the same woman that was running around neighborhoods taking shits on people's lawn?
No, it's not the same woman.
He doesn't.
Oh.
Are you sure it's not the same woman?
No, it's not the same woman. But yeah. And then she's 43. That's the thing. Well, you knew better.
I mean,
I was going to say, why does it matter what age?
Those are your headlines for the week. of March. Damn, it is really oh, wow. We're almost 4 months into the damn year. The week of March 17th.
That's a good thing.
2019. Huh?
That means we're only, how many months away from the next election?
Can't count quick enough. Honestly, that is really scary because you have a few people that have already announced that they're running. Kamala Harris.
Harris.
What is that? O'Rourke Beto.
Oh, yeah?
What's that other guy's name? Shit.
The guy that
Bernie Sanders.
Hey, you killing yourself naming people. Let me tell you like this. Right now, it's about 556 Democrats running, and then Donald Trump.
Who was the candidate that McCoy?
Oh, Andrew Yang. He's not going to win.
But I do like the awareness that he's trying to bring. I like
what he's saying, but Charlemagne the guy said it best. You ain't got no chance in hell. I'm sorry.
One is too many people. Had he done this maybe at a different time, he probably would have gotten a little bit more press, but right now he's saying a lot of stuff that people don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's not going to work. But that's one thing that has been funny. He was talking about, that, a lot of black families or just middle class families maybe.
All right, RKelly.
Maybe kind of like paved over with the upcoming like economic wave, kind of not out. What do you say it? They don't have the education to be able to continue with the wave the way it's going right now. A lot of the jobs and things that they do is like a one note, and they wouldn't actually have the means or wherewithal to be able to learn a new skill or anything.
So he was saying like all these people talking about how the coal industry was going away and everybody in different type of manufacturing jobs, and everybody wants to say, oh, just retrain them to learn how to write code or retrain them to be engineers. It's like, okay, first of all, they probably don't want to be engineers. Like, what am I training you for a job you don't want to do? Second of all, if you've been mining coal for 30 years, realistically, are you going to learn how to code in Python? Like, does that even make sense to you? You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you say retrain them and give them new jobs, but let's be honest, like, that's not going to work for everybody. It's not going to work for the majority of them. So what do you do?
Yep. Unfortunately. But yeah. Those are your headlines. As always, please continue to follow us on social media. Say What Radio for all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that jazz. Again, thank you for tuning in. As always, the biggest compliment you guys can give us is to really, really, really share, like, subscribe, review the show on iTunes, Google Play, thumbs up on Facebook, everything. Tell your family, friends about the show. We may not be everybody's cup of tea, but hey, let them listen and we can come to an agreement. You like this, don't like this, but that was funny. Yes, it was. Thank you for tuning in. Catch us next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
I'm dying in this fucking fucked up town. Shit flying in my mouth. Let's get the fuck out of this country, mother. The fuck is that?
Say what again?